Major U.S. government agencies have been the target of cyber attacks of late. The State Department is the latest. During the past week, officials had to temporarily shut down an unclassified email system after a suspected hacking. In recent months, the White House, the Postal Service, and the National Weather Service all have been targeted. Meanwhile, as the holiday season approaches, retailers in the business world are on the lookout for breaches. A new book breaks down the pervasiveness of what's happening. Jeffrey Brown has our conversation.
A week goes by anymore without a report of some major cyber breach, whether it's targeting retailers, the government, or any and all of us. The attacks are generated in a new netherworld of crime, some of it individualized, even chaotic, other parts of it extremely well organized. Writer and journalist Brian Krebs has uncovered some major breaches, including the one on Target that compromised the credit card data of tens of millions of people. He writes about all of this on his blog, Krebs on Security Service, which would be the service that somebody nefarious wants to use, right? I mean, the service is providing my data, for example, your data.
Well, it is really interesting to look at the dichotomy of spam, depending on the consumer. If the consumers in the business world has heard anything loud and clear, or I hope they've heard anything loud and clear over the last year, both from the revelations with the Edward Snowden scandal and the attacks on personal and financial information vis-a-vis major companies that hold this information. I hope it's that if you're not encrypting this information, it's as good as stolen. Because increasingly these companies have to change their mindset, but they haven't yet. That mindset shift has to shift from one of, well, we've put all this stuff in place to keep them out. Let's make sure we keep them out, to, well, there's no way we can keep them out. So let's make our defenses so that we realize they're going to get in. How do we protect the data that we're responsible for protecting when they get in? Not if, but when.
Well, so what's the, I mean, from all the work you've done over the years looking into this world, what's the advice, or how has it changed your own habits, or what's the advice you give your loved ones?
Oh, my loved ones, well, that's quite a bit different. It's pretty simple, but it hasn't really changed much over the years. So it starts with the basic hygiene, security hygiene, and this stuff is not super sexy. Unfortunately, it's a pain. You know, keeping your operating system up to date with the latest software updates. Actually, almost as important, if not more important, is keeping your browser up to date. So all those, increasingly, the way companies and individuals get hacked is through the browser. So they browse to a site that's malicious or itself is hacked, and if they're not browsing that site with the latest, say, Adobe Flash Player, Java, PDF Reader, whatever it is, there are updates for these things like once a month. If they're not up to date, they're going to have a bad day, and their computer's not going to belong to them anymore. So I always tell people, if you installed it, update it. And if you didn't go looking for it, don't install it. Those two things keep most people out of a lot of trouble.
All right, you know what, we're going to continue this